Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to take a look at Rush's album Power Windows. The song is Manhattan Project. We haven't looked at a song on this album in a little while, so it's nice to come back to it. We're kind of making a point of hitting songs on Power Windows and Hold Your Fire for a little while, just because those are two albums that we've gone to the least in Rush's, I guess, classic era, where they were still very much a presence on the charts. Just basically through the 80s, really, till about Presto. This particular song I remember a little bit of. I've heard it before, for sure. Haven't seen them play it live, though. Yeah, so we're going to look at a live version that was actually featured on A Show of Hands, released from 1989. So, Adrian, do you have any thoughts on this before we get started?
Well, I'm unfamiliar with the song.
Yeah, by the time this came out, I think, I know I was in my thrash and speed metal period. You know, this was kind of the middle of it. And also SST, so I was busy. I had kind of moved on, but we are back and we are happy to take a look at this song. So let's check it out and discuss afterwards.
All right.
When it all began, in the dying days of a war, a weapon that would settle the score. Whoever found it first would be sure to do their worst. They always had before. Imagine that, when it all began, a scientist visiting abroad in each nation, always eager to explore, to build the best big stick, to turn the winning trick. But this was something more. Of the desert sand, all the brightest boys to play with the biggest toys, more than they bargained for. Big bang took and shook the world, shut down the rising sun. The upper deep end on the world without a head. Whatever the hopeless may say,
Okay, well, you know what? I think it's probably most appropriate to go right into the lyrics after seeing that, which had all those great animated characters in there getting blown up or turned radioactive or whatever else was happening. It was slightly funny, in the animations, but then you realize.
Yeah, there's some violent animation on the screen there.
Yeah, well, with a name like Manhattan Project, as you mentioned, I think we can guess kind of some of the subject matter anyway.
Yeah, I seem to pick up that it was about Hiroshima and the bomb, and possibly also about the arms race that happened after that.
Yeah, in fact, Enola Gay is actually mentioned in the lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Imagine a man when it all began, the pilot of Enola Gay, flying out of the shockwave on that August day. All the powers that be and the course of history would be changed forevermore. And they're also talking about, the testing that happened to work in the secrecy of the desert sand, all the brightest boys. Oh, okay, so maybe that's Nevada, actually. But they also had one out in the ocean. So Nevada was also a testing ground. So, yeah, Adrian, what are your thoughts on these lyrics?
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. There was talk about the Hiroshima. Something that pointed that out to me was, not only the mention of the Enola Gay, of course, but also the bomb.
Yeah. They've got here, they say the Big Bang took and shook the world, shot down the rising sun.
Yes.
And then, when the chain reaction was done, big shots try to hold it back. Fools try to wish it away. The hopeful depend on a world without end. Whatever the hopeless may say. We know some of our parents, at least, did the old duck and cover under their desks at school. So, quite a testament. I don't recall exactly what was going on in history at the time. Of course, Reagan was in charge, and I think actually the Russian leaders may have got switched out, maybe even twice during his term. I'm not sure. It was something like that. Dropov, Gorbachev, who was before that? Brezhnev, was he in there? Anyway, I'd have to check, but maybe there were things going on. It seems to me there were some punk albums coming out around the same time that had, kind of the same theme going on. Like everybody had a little anxiety about the world blowing up, in a nuclear holocaust.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it was right around this time.
Well, on a more positive note, you like the sound of that particular guitar that Alex plays in this song?
I liked it. Personally, at least I like the way that he built the effects and built the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, just the guitar solos sound great, because of that.
That's right. And I actually liked the keyboard on that too. I mean, there was a lot going on there, but they were catchy riffs that were put together. There were a lot of pieces of this song that kind of fit in perfectly, especially with the early mid-'80s. It just kind of felt like one of those songs that would have been on the radio even at the time. So again, this is an album that came out when we had pretty much tuned out, but I mean, I recognize that was a contemporary sound.
Yeah.
Kind of brings me back to the time, even though I wasn't really listening to the album. It's that much of a time capsule. And that goes for a lot of Rush's material, too. You can pretty much place it in whatever era it was recorded in. And it's funny, it's not just the moment the song takes you back to, but the way that the thing is built, I mean, it really does. It just drops me back in that era. It is a really serious reminder of the power of music for me on this particular track. And I do have the album now, I'm happy to say. I got it just a few years ago. It's been useful having this channel to kind of come back around and take a look at these albums that we missed the first time. All right, well, folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this, and if you were a fan at the time, and if listening to this track actually brings you back to a time and a place, if you saw the tour, if you have other suggestions from this, or maybe Hold Your Fire, we could even bring that out to Presto. We wanted. I know that that's a slightly different album, but there's good stuff on it, but it's more guitar based. But if you have something there, we'd look at that too. I'd like to kind of focus on the late 80s now for Rush for a little while, because that's kind of an underexplored era for us. All right. Okay, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right, don't forget we have a second channel now for interviews and behind-the-scenes type footage. That's Modern Rock Talk. If If you haven't checked it out yet, please do so today. All right. And thanks so much for joining us on this one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.
See you all later.